They say the average person makes their first million by 37, but we did it by age 23, and we did it together. But before the millions, before the freedom, before the business, there was nothing. Now, we grew up in a house where pennies were pinched. Immigrant parents, no generational wealth, no connections, no shortcuts, just two kids in Canada trying to find a way out of this system that we were locked into that we weren't supposed to get out of.
You know, growing up, I remember wanting a PlayStation 3 when it was first released. All my friends had it, but as you can imagine, I didn't get it. At least I didn't get it right away. I remember wanting shoes, and as you can imagine, I didn't get those either. Typically, those were passed down to me from my brother. Now, it's not because our parents didn't love us, but it was because they couldn't afford to say yes. Our dad came from Poland, my mom from the Philippines. They met in Canada and they fell in love. They both came here and started over with absolutely nothing. Every dollar earned was used for survival. Every purchase made was a sacrifice. And we get it now. When you don't have a safety net, you don't have the ability to dream. You aim for security. You maybe become a doctor or a lawyer or maybe an engineer. At least that's what our parents wanted for us. But deep down, Eric and I knew that that path was just not for us. We weren't wired that way, and we knew that we were destined for so much more.
Now, this is crazy to think back at and the things that we did to make money. But now, while our friends were living normal teenage lives, we were out at the skate park buying stuff from the United States when the dollar was cheap and going to the skate park and flipping it for a profit. We were selling shoes, whether used or new, again, for a profit at the skate park. And when we got our license, we were buying clapped out cars, ones that we saw opportunity in. We'd clean them up, fix them up, and then we would sell them for a profit. And on the weekends, we would do something even crazier. We introduced this thing to our friends after they started asking us for money called the Zab loans, where we would literally lend them money at really high interest rates. Now, this is not because we were in the rich dad, poor dad mindset or anything like that, but we did this because deep down we knew we had to survive. Now, as kids, all of our friends would get these allowances for doing chores. That was just an expectation at our home. We needed to do these things because our parents needed help around the house while they were grinding at their jobs. So for us, making money and finding ways to do that was important. And again, it was out of this need, this thrive to be able to survive, whether we knew it or not at the time. And while it was fun seeing all of that money roll in, like we were the well-off kids, we knew that we grinded for that. People always used to say, oh, you guys got money, all this kind of stuff. We earned it, and it felt good to be able to do that. But at the end of the day, it left us miserable 24/7 because we were straight up grinding, and it sacrificed a lot of our teenage years to put us into a position of where we are at today.
Now, this hustle, obviously, our natural minds was, let's go in business. With business, we knew that, hey, maybe one day down the road, we could own our own business, and therefore we can be more in control. So what did we do? We went to BCIT, we went to business school, and we got full scholarships to pretty much cover our entire tuition. And again, that wasn't something that everyone got. We had to work hard throughout the high school years in order to actually be able to apply and be even considered for that scholarship in the first place. That hustle that we had in our childhood exemplified through everything that we did and at the very beginning of our actual business career. After going to business school, when we graduated, we landed a cushy 6-figure job before we even turned 20. I remember talking to Eric, and we were talking about how a 6-figure income is a dream for pretty much every single person in the world, and we were able to do that within our first career job. The kind of job that we landed is a job that people would say, you made it. But the reality was, we were miserable. We were literally working 70-hour weeks, long commutes, literally an hour and a half sometimes each way. And on top of that, we were living for this weekend that quite literally just didn't exist. Yes, the paychecks were phenomenal, but the freedom was close to none. No time, no peace. But what was worse than putting in all of those hours was the guilt. Our parents were so damn proud of us. How do you walk away from a job that provides that security that they always wanted for us?
Now, we tried every single business model out there. That's how. Social media marketing, dropshipping, affiliate marketing, you name it, we tried it. Every single time that we did, we thought that we were gonna strike gold. But instead, most of the time, we crashed, and we crashed hard. Dropshipping, yeah, we actually made a little bit of money for that. Seeing all of the reels on Instagram and Facebook at the time on here's how you can make money while you sleep. And to be honest, there was a couple products that actually did quite well. But over time, we spent more on Facebook ads than we made in sales. Constant refunds, saturated products, chasing customers, unhappy customers, and ultimately just getting burned time and time again. But the reality is we weren't quitters and we didn't quit. So we pivoted. And the next thing that we tried was actually starting a social media marketing agency where we would literally take our sales skills that we learned while working this corporate sales job and we would try to build something on the side. Honestly, it sounded pretty easy on paper. I think we can both agree that, but it was hard. We got a few clients, we ran ads for them, we made a little bit of money here and there. And same deal. Again, we made money, we were doing well for a little bit, but nobody told us about the constant chasing of clients who ultimately just didn't know what they actually wanted. The constant pressure, the long hours, no stability, and no guarantees. It was like trying to build a house without a stable foundation. It was impossible.
I remember coming to a realization that one day you would just be on top of the world, and the next day you would literally be feeling like you can barely keep afloat. This business model was super inconsistent, and it created more stress than not. But the biggest gut punch was putting in months of work into these business models and just barely scraping by. We just couldn't help but feel like we were just spinning our wheels while we're watching all of these people on social media getting lucky. Yet we're stuck in the grind for God, who knows how long. But I remember this one day at college, in our last semester, a gentleman came in that was speaking around his success in his corporate job. Towards the end, he plugged in that he was making 5 figures on the side selling products on Amazon. Eric and I literally jumped out of our seats as soon as he left the room and we went to go talk to him. As you can imagine, we were intrigued. Our obsessive personalities literally went down this rabbit hole of just trying to seek knowledge and information on this business model, how to do this, and how to make money online. We watched every video. We took notes, studied product research during our lunch breaks. As soon as we would finish at our day job, we would put hours in the evening on our business. And the days that we weren't working on the weekends at our jobs, you better believe we were spending those hours working on the business. But the reality was the grind didn't scare us. What scared us was dying in a job that we hated, living a life that someone else planned and not us. But let's be real here. We didn't wake up one day and just start winning. What we were looking for was a business that we could juggle with our corporate jobs, a business that we could truly work on the side and not have to put in those grueling hours that we put into the businesses that we failed in. It wasn't easy and it wasn't instant success. But what it did give us was a system that scaled.
And that's when everything changed for us. Finally, we felt like we were in control. Now, of course, the beginning sucked. We made a lot of mistakes. We lost $8,000 on our first product order. Wrong labels, wrong size tier, having to overpay for shipping. It honestly was a disaster. But that's when we realized that you can either pay with time and mistakes, of course, or pay somebody who's already figured it out. So that's when we reached out to that mentor that came and spoke at our college, and we hired him as our mentor to help us grow and help us scale our business. And I think we can both agree that's probably when everything actually changed for us. He helped us shift from thinking like an employee to thinking like a real CEO.
So Eric and I brought everything that we learned from him together. Same blood, same mission, different strengths. And then we ended up joining his mentorship community. Teaming up allowed us to move faster, make fewer mistakes, and launch better products. Our first $10,000 month came, and then our first $100,000 month, and that's when we knew that it was game over.
And then from there, we ended up making probably one of the best decisions of our lives, the most freeing, and that was to leave our cushy corporate 6-figure jobs. And you know what? Sure, our parents asked questions, making sure that this was the right move for us, but the reality was they 100% supported us because we earned that decision and they trusted us. And since then, we've truly scaled and we've scaled together. We've launched over 30 successful products on Amazon. We run multiple 7-figure brands. We've generated over $8 million online, and we built a team of over 30 people that we now support every single day. Now, the best part, our dad, the one who told us to play it safe, launched his own Amazon store, made nearly $100,000 in a single month.
We even employed our cousins overseas, and we send money back home. We broke the cycle for our entire family. We were able to build generational wealth. And we created this dynasty using Amazon. We didn't build this just to flex. Trust me, far from that. We built this because we're sick and tired of seeing people make the same mistakes that we went through. This isn't just about Amazon. It's about freedom, financial freedom, location freedom, time freedom, and most importantly, mental freedom. What it's really about is changing the way people view education. It's about showing people that there is truly another way. Because like we said, we tried everything: social media marketing, drop shipping, affiliate marketing. But Amazon was the only thing that truly gave us scale and systems.
Now, a lot of people think you guys just got lucky. And maybe we did, but over the years, we've bled for this. We've worked so hard to make this happen. We lost sleep, we sacrificed relationships, our teenage years, and ultimately we sacrificed our savings on products that flopped. Now, people can say that this can be luck, but for us, we knew that we put ourselves in a position to be lucky. And honestly, we wouldn't even change a thing, because now we've been able to mentor over 1,000 people in our mentorship program, which anybody can join by clicking the link down below. And now we get tons of messages like this: $10,000 in 30 days. I just quit my job. My parents are proud of me again. That one hits home. Funny thing is, a lot of people say that we just made our money from courses, and the reality is that we didn't. And I'm gonna shut that down right now, because take a look at what we just did in the past 3 days from just this one store alone. Now, we're not here to sell you a dream. We're here to show you what's possible. Now, that's if you're willing to do the uncomfortable shit, to stop playing it safe and to go all in. Now, you don't need to have a twin sibling or a business partner. You can do this completely alone. You can be completely broke, because when we started, that's exactly where we were at as well.
And this channel, it's not just Amazon. Okay, maybe it is mostly Amazon, but it's more than just that. It's the result of two brothers betting on themselves. Two brothers who want to inspire for other people to do the same thing with proper guidance so that they can make less mistakes. So if you're ready to stop waiting and to start building, we are the Zab Twins, and we went from $8,000 in the hole to $8 million in revenue, and we're just getting started. So welcome to the channel. Now let's change your life. Now, we've created a training dedicated to teaching people just like you who want to make their first dollar using Amazon. Now, we've left the link in the description and in the pinned comment of this video. So if you're serious about finally grasping financial freedom, then we'll see you guys there.